Antoine is going to be crowned your WOR Season 10 champion.
And history's been made. Ballina, the first WOR PS4 champion. What a championship! What a season! Absolutely phenomenal.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to WOR. We are back from our 1 week break on the PlayStation platform, and it's the traditional home of the first race after the break. It's the longest circuit in Formula 1, the historic Spa-Francorchamps circuit, round number 7 of the championship, the Belgian Grand Prix. My name is Luke Etheridge. Joining me as always on a Friday evening is Logan Skelton. Logan, how are you doing?
Hey, I am doing fantastic. Lovely night of Friday is. In fact, it's 15 years today since Schumacher's last race at Ferrari. Fun fact of the day.
Yeah, I think we'll be going some if we see any performance as good as that. Any performance especially that doesn't get a podium. Last time out, you might remember, well, even if you weren't here, if you've just got a rough idea of how the season's going, it's probably not too surprising to realise that it was Gamer who took the victory. He now has a humongous 82-point lead in the championship over Lars and Brock. Nico in 4th, Andrea in 5th, Suku 6th. It is still very close for that 4th to 6th place. Cornet, Simon, Rudy and Jensen rounding out the top 10. We have got a bit more of a mixed up grid tonight. We have got some slightly different drivers. Gamer not here. I don't think Lars and Brock are here either, or Nico actually. So it's Andrea, highest driver there in the championship. A chance for him to get up the order. We might have a really mixed up race here because we're not too sure what to expect. We've had a 1 week break. We've got some drivers making their first appearances, of course. And it's a big opportunity for someone to maybe not grab a hold on that lead of the championship, but definitely stake their claim to be best of the rest.
Yes, I would just like to correct him one thing, Luke. Brock is actually here tonight. He's in the McLaren, as always. Of course, Brock won in Austria this season, the only other driver other than Gamer until tonight to win here in Tier 1. Of course, there is going to be guaranteed a different winner other than Gamer. Not guaranteed that there's going to be a new winner because, of course, Brock's in the lineup. You never know. Of course, Belgium is the track tonight. 7 kilometers, easily the longest track in Formula 1 on the calendar right now. This didn't used to be 7 kilometers though, it used to be much longer, Luke, isn't that right?
Yeah, it used to be, well, I think back even before, if I was going to say back in the day, even before that, even further in the day, before the F1 World Championship, I think it was 16 kilometers. It was slightly different as you came out of Eau Rouge. I think you actually used to go left up an uphill section not too long after that. Then they shortened it slightly to a 14-kilometer blast through the forest. Then for safety reasons in the 70s, this track was actually shortened before the Nürburgring, to give you a clue how fearsome the reputation was of Spa-Francorchamps. It was shortened to this 7.004 kilometres. Last major changes that we saw were at the end of the 2005 with the bus stop chicane no longer resembling a bus stop. Does now provide a bit of a better opportunity though down into the, well, you could say the final corners, but we'd expect most of the overtaking action to happen down that Kemmel Straight.
Yes, indeed we are. Of course, this track has, as we know this season, was supposed to have a race here, but unfortunately that did not happen due to Mother Nature itself intervening. Fortunately, because this is of course a video game, we don't believe that will happen tonight unless the game decides to implode on us.
No matter how bad the weather gets, we will be seeing some racing. We could well get a lot of safety cars if the weather gets too bad, but you can see we have got 14 drivers then, and in very Spa-like conditions. I was on a school trip that drove past the Spa-Francorchamps circuit, and I can tell you, it was pretty much identical weather then to what they had this year at the Belgian Grand Prix. It was absolutely bucketing it down there as we've got a few cars headed out. Rudy and Dan Sweeney in that glamorous white Red Bull, and I think by the time I've got used to that being the Red Bull colours, the Codemasters will get rid of it. We have got a few drivers making their first appearances tonight. One of them is TTG Passassin. He was in the Ecos team. He did race in the social race, but living on the other side of the pond, living in the USA, does mean this time it can be slightly awkward for him, so he is making his first appearance tonight. Definitely a good chance to see what all these different drivers can do. Very tricky track, Spa, to get a perfect lap, just because it's so long.
Yeah, it's very long, 7 kilometers, and one mistake can ruin the lap. And these drivers certainly don't want to do it tonight, especially through here. Passassin going through Pouon right now. This is one of the tricky parts of the track. You've got to brake at the right time and turn at the right time as well. You make just one slight miscue, then that's going to be your lap invalidated. You might go wide, you might spin, etc, etc. It's a place you don't want to make a mistake in. Another place you don't want to make a mistake in is this corner. I believe it is called Cooper Paul Frere. Yes, that's a corner that has caught out drivers a lot before. Of course, coming through Blanchimont, this very fast left-hander, and then going right into a heavy braking zone of the bus stop. Of course, you got to be very careful here. You got to get in the right speed. And you can see Passassin going very wide to make sure he can get as much speed out of the corner as possible, crossing line to begin his gambit. Coming down to La Sorte, very sharp right-hander here. Got to be very careful not to go too wide there, out there, as they come down to the famous run down to Eau Rouge. No, that's Radio Naturally Jokes, please. They come right into the dip and then up the hill, of course, coming down the Kemmel Straight now. A long run down to Lake Holm, and it just goes past so fast because of how fast this track is, even though it is 7 kilometers long. Heck, Singapore is 2 kilometers shorter and has just faster lap times. It's insane, this track. As they come through Lake Holm and now Bruxelles, and then what is affectionately called as No Name. Got to be very careful here as well. Go very wide. That's it. Your lap is done. Now coming down through to Pouon. Again, that's what I said before. He can't go too deep or he can't go too fast, and he doesn't do either. He's fine through there. And now through to Campus, turns 13 and 14. Got to be very delicate with the brakes and throttle here. And then Stavilo before Curve Paul Frere. As you see, he's set a purple time, but that is, of course, he's the first driver to set a time, if I believe I am not mistaken. Now coming through to Blanchimont, very fast section here before braking heavy into the bus stop. Of course, this was reprofiled in 2006, which is why the race was not held here. But here he comes around the final corner very nicely, and the benchmark to set, Luke, will be a 1:42.313.
Yeah, definitely a very clean lap from Passassin there. Didn't look like he was going overly hard. Of course, invalidating around here, being such a long circuit, can prove to be quite costly. Dan Spreen slots in just behind him, as does Rudy as well. We've got Asuka, one of the guys to watch so far this season. He also goes behind Passassin on a 1:42.3. So pretty close at the top of the standings at the moment. Still very early days of though. We've got some other drivers heading out. Marcus Towler just coming through as we have got rain here at Spa-Francorchamps. This could well be it then. That could well be Passassin on pole position.
Was about to say it started to rain. It has come and hit the drivers like it was out of nowhere. I cannot believe Passassin might be the luckiest man on planet Earth right now, unless someone decides to spoil the party. Marcus is definitely not going to do that. He is well out of range. 8 faster than Enzo Ricciardo, but yeah, everyone is struggling. And all this hype in qualifying might have all gone to naught. A couple of drivers have pitted. I do believe it's Hamalayan, and I'm just going to call him Hama for now. And also Simon has pitted, because they know they're not going to get anywhere near Passassin. Line Violet coming through now on soft tires, of course. It is, of course. Yeah, he's coming into the pits. I think this session is well and truly over, and we've only seen one lap from 9 drivers. Well, good thing I got that hot lap in.
Yeah, There you go, DRS has been disabled. Andrea's about to come across the line now on his F1MD account. 147.052. Cohen's invalidated his lap. It could be worth some of these just setting a lap time to make sure you aren't a bit further down the order. But yeah, very early days. Line Violet he's retired from the session in the pits, and I reckon we'll be seeing a few more retire from the pit lane, if I'm being perfectly honest with you. There's no improvements whatsoever. Assassin's on pole position, Suku second. That is qualifying.
I think we may have just broken the quickest, the world record for the quickest qualifying session in League Racing history. History made here at the Spa-Francorchamps circuit. Everyone's coming in. Assassin's in. He was struggling out of the bus stop last time I checked. Yeah, I think this is a code red for everyone to come into the pits and just call it a day, and we'll be racing. Very unlucky for Cohen and Simon. Because of course they wanted to get out of there. The rain just hit them from out of nowhere, just like well, I was gonna make a wrestling joke, but I'm not gonna do that. Kryptonite, Enzo Ricardo, they're gonna be heading into the pits. I cannot see them. I don't see any point, obviously, of doing well, you could if you've not set a time yet to set the bottom four, because of course if it's dry. Well, actually, that won't matter because, of course, they will be using they will have to use different tires. Anyway, it looks like if it's dry, the top 10 are going to be doing the start of the race on the softs.
Yeah, definitely. It's very interesting indeed. Simon looks as though he might be going out on the intermediates, and Cohen just to sort of guarantee that 11th place on the grid. We've now got Joey. He's joining the session to make his debut. Hamalainen, I think he was known as Mazzino, and this is one of his first races since Japan, where he finished down in 16th. But it will be interesting to see if any of those cars do go out on track. But we said we'd guarantee you on-track action, and it wouldn't be like the 2021 Belgian Grand Prix. I feel we've broken our promise ever so slightly. Now we've got a car heading out there. Simon going for a lap on the intermediate. He knows he's going to only gain himself one place here, and the fact that they're starting to use up the intermediate tyres says to me maybe we're not going to see a wet race.
I mean, the little things in life matter, to Simon especially. He wants that 11th place by the looks of it. He wants to go in the alternate strategy, knowing, well, as I call it, alternate pole position. As we see him on the inters, my goodness, the rain, it's just coming down faster than a regular day would be coming it down. But as you can see, Simon, is going on the outside of Brazil. Oh my goodness, he's sliding all over the place. This might not be good enough for intermediates. The standing water, I can see standing water in some places, to be fair. It's very hard to tell on the screen, but yeah, it's coming down like mad. Get the brollies out.
Yeah, certainly. I think he is the only driver, well, he is the only driver out on track at the moment, so we might as well still keep following Simon round. He did a fantastic job at the start of the season when he was a reserve driver, actually. Got points in 2 out of the 3 races he did as a reserve driver. Since then, only managed to get points last time out at Silverstone. Not gone to plan as much for him. Still yet to get a podium. Highest, actually Nico's the highest person, I should say. The man who's 4th in the championship, amazingly, has yet to get a podium. Simon, another guy who's shown some pace, and he knows the best he's going to qualify in here is 11th place, and it looks like he is going to go for that as he just invalidates on his out lap. I really hope for the sake of this his next lap that's not messed up his next one as well, but he is going to try and give it a go. Marcus Towler, his car is out on track. He's retired from the session. I think he's actually got it wrong coming into Lacombe, just showing you how coming out of Lacombe, I should say, just showing you how risky things are. But Simon's going to be going for a hot lap here straight away, locking up into turn 1. This is going to be what, 156, 157 perhaps?
But it could mean everything in terms of alternate strategy starting positions. Joey is also on a lap, I should mention. Marcus Tell actually crashed at Lake Com. There's a big wall right next to the outside of the final turn of Lake Com, and it's right next to it's right there. So if you make a mistake out there, say goodbye to your car. I hate to say it, but yeah, that'll be your car. Yeah, it's right next to the track. As you can see on Simon. Oh my goodness, Simon absolutely struggling. He's invalidated his lap, so he'll have to go again. Of course, he does. He is obliged to go again. It's actually encouraged on the intermediates because they don't wear out as much as the slick tyres would. Kryptonite has retired from the session. No surprises there. I'm surprised Pastassin and Soku have not retired yet. Yeah, they're starting to retire one by one. Line Violet and Hammerlinen are not bothering, but Simon and Joey... Simon's actually given up. Yeah, I think they've come to realise there's no point doing this. Joey's the only one on a lap now. So, yeah, this is quite awkward, I know, but, you know, we're trying to find something to do here, Luke, are we?
I mean, I seem to remember, I think it was the Canadian Grand Prix back in 2011, that famous, if anyone watching can remember, the 4-hour Grand Prix that I remember shouting at the TV at 10 p.m, which I don't think the neighbours were too appreciated with, but yeah, they were talking about different coloured blackbirds and everything, and I thought the whole point of a blackbird was, it's in my name, it's black, but apparently there are different colours, and we're going to go spotting about various different things around this Bar Francorchamps circuit. In fact, we'll actually mention one thing that you were going to be able to see here as he comes through Eau Rouge and Radion. You can see that chalet just at the top of the hill there. That has been demolished, of course, to try and allow for more runoff area as Joey somehow has got no damage from that, because that was a huge hit.
He's won the lottery with that hit, I have to tell you. But that is his lap invalidity. Yeah, there's no point of going on. That is it over. Cohen can just retire now. Yeah, there he goes. He's definitely watching the stream, Luke. He's just retired, just as I said. Yeah, it's coming down like... I cannot see anyone doing any more laps. What's the point? You might as well have the pole position ceremony. Give him the tyre now. Of course, because they have a wind tunnel test tyre as the prize for getting pole position. Even if you have a grid penalty, take that. Valtteri Bottas. It's not Valtteri Bottas. It's, it was Bottas actually. Did get pole in Turkey, of course, because Hamilton had a 10-place grid penalty and technically got pole position. But you know, rules are rules. Take it. Yep. 2 drivers left in the session. There's no time. I mean, give them their time to retire. Of course, I think all the drivers need a hard-earned rest after that. Well, I wouldn't say it would be a farce, would it? Just unfortunate.
No, but I think it shows one thing that I've always thought Formula 1 should try and do. We know we're talking about the sprint races and different ways of doing qualifying. Why not, if Formula 1 wants to change qualifying, and this is just, I'm just sprouting here because we've got 5 minutes of qualifying to go and we don't know if Brock and Danspreen are going to retire. Why not keep Q1 and Q2 as they are, but make Q3 one-shot qualifying and just maybe give the drivers a bit more pressure? It would be interesting to see, because as you've seen here, you can end up with a bit of a mixed up grid. Most of these drivers did head out early on, but just invalidated their lap times.
Yes, they did. My proposal, a very stupid one probably, is to do what Formula E does and split them into groups, but it would just be groups of 2, and then depending on who... Oh no. Danspreen's just went back on the track, and he's on inters. Yeah, he's on inters, but, yeah, well, we're talking about it. Let's just talk about it. What my plan would be to have split them into groups, and it wouldn't be overall time because, you know, grip levels, it would be unfair. Like Formula E, that's the problem I have with Formula E. It's very unfair. It's more, it helps the drivers that goes later because there's more grip on this track. What would happen, it would be the top 5 from each group would go into Q2B, which would be Q2A, which would be the top 10 shootout. And the bottom 10, it's not over for them. They get to participate in Q2B, which takes place before Q2A, unlike Q1 and Q1B. And they would set the time to see who's the fastest of those, because that would be, you know, alternate strategy. It pretty much counts there, and they have to use the alternate strategy. I think that would be interesting to try out, but, you know, as we've seen elimination qualifying, it doesn't really. Don't mind about that.
I mean, haven't Formula V changed the qualifying system as well? They're going to some weird knockout system next season. I think they're keeping the groups, and then it's some weird knockout thing is happening. So, yeah. I'm not sure. Answers on a postcard as to what Formula V is doing. Danspreen's just giving all their fans a tiny bit of entertainment at the moment, as long as he doesn't wreck it in the wall and cause himself a slight bit of embarrassment. Might as well get a bit of a feel for the track, because I'm sure in other leagues he's going to have plenty of times driving around on a set of the intermediate tyres around the Spa Francorchamps circuit. Definitely one of my favourites. Definitely one that I think, in Formula 1, this track, probably...
The GOAT.
this track should always be one of the tracks that should never be off the calendar.
Well, it was off the calendar for 2 years in the 2000s. That was because of 2003 tobacco advertising laws and 2006 renovations to the track, which is totally understandable, the second one. So, yeah, it has been on the calendar for, well, this track has been on the calendar every year since, I believe, 1985, except for 2003 and 2006. Of course, Monaco wasn't held in 2020, but has held a race every year since 1955, I believe. Britain has always been on the calendar. Monza's been on the calendar, except for 1981, I believe, when they used Imola. And Imola's a great track as well. Glad they brought that back and into the game. And Dan Spreen finally gives up the ghost. So, qualifying is over. Probably one of the most outrageous and unusual qualifying sessions in World Online Racing history. Ends with Assassin, the American, getting pole position by 62 thousandths ahead of Soku. Rudy in third, Krypton in fourth, that's the second row. Brock and Ballin, the third row. Dan Spreen and Marcus Tapala on the fourth row. Enzo Ricardo and Andrea on the fifth row. And then the rest of the field did not set a time. Cohen, Simon, Line Violet, Hamalainen and Joey. And just joined us is Jax, and he will be starting alongside Joey. You can't see him on the screen, but Jax has just joined the lobby. So he will be given the chance to race because, of course, he's just joined the session, I believe. Oh, if he doesn't, then that's a real shame. But hey, exciting race to come, I hope.
Yeah, definitely. Drivers, well, they should have plenty of fresh tyres because they've only really used one set of softs, if that. They've not got too much experience of, you know, how things are driving today. Of course, race conditions might be slightly different anyway. I'm imagining it will be a bit drier. And in fact, it does look very overcast once again. So who knows? Maybe we might see the intermediate tyres or perhaps even the Blue World full wet tyres make their appearance around this circuit. That would definitely stir things up a bit. Drivers are just getting ready. It's an extremely simple one-stop strategy in the dry around here, despite some of the high-speed corners. Obviously, you've got Eau Rouge, Radillon, Blanchimont, Pouhon as well. Soft to medium, fairly basic strategy.
Yes, indeed. Not the most exciting strategy race in the world, unlike some races like China and Bahrain. But, of course, you never know what can happen. A safety car could change all that.
Yeah, definitely. Safety car could always cause a bit of drama around every single circuit. We have got some pretty more interesting races to come, of course. If we just take a quick look at the calendar as the drivers are getting ready. Next time out, we are going to be at USA, then Mexico, then another week break before Portugal, Imola, Saudi Arabia, and Brazil to finish off the season. But we're not too bothered about them now. All we're bothered about is the Spa-Francorchamps circuit. 7.004 kilometres, 19 miles through the Ardennes Forest with 2 DRS zones. The one into La Source, you probably won't see much to overtaking in. The one into Lacombe, I think was where you'll see the majority of the action. As we take a look at what tyres everyone has gone for, interesting to see Line Violet going for the softs outside of the top 10. Clearly trying to get that good start and go aggressive early on before the DRS trains start to take effect.
Yes, Jack has been permitted to race by the game, so that's great to see. He'll be starting at the back, but I don't think he's too bothered about it. He knows what he's just saw. I don't think Joey is too flustered either. It's just, of course, qualifying. The race is where it counts. That is where you get all the points in. And unless they make changes and have points for qualifying, which I honestly wouldn't mind. As we see all the drivers passing like home, of course, in the orderly fashion as per the Formula 1 rules. See them all weaving. If you're new to the sports, if you're wondering why they're weaving left and right, that is to warm up the tyres and give them lots of grip, because if hot tyres mean lots of grip, but don't overdo it or you'll probably lose it all.
Yeah, certainly. I think you'll see a few drivers lighting up the rears coming out of Blanchimont towards the end of the lap just to try and get that good start and get the traction outside of turn 1. It's a very interesting first corner here in the first lap of the race. It's not a long run towards turn 1, so into turn 1, Possassin should be safe, but I don't think he'll mind being second coming out of turn 1 because, especially on lap 1, you don't want to give someone a run. It's about 25-30 second flat out run from the bottom of the hill at La Source, all the way to the top of the hill at Le Combe. Could see some moves on the first lap. We of course saw 4 wide in 2018 with Hamilton, Vettel, and the 2, as they had just been renamed, Racing Points.
Yes, of course, the rundown isn't very long. It's actually below what FIA should allow. It's supposed to be 250 meters from the start line to the first corner. It's actually 246, I believe. But hey, it's just a little. I don't think it matters too much. Then again, they do have tracks that are less than 12 meters wide in Formula 1, although it has to be 12 meters wide. But hey, the rules are weird and a little bit too lax. But there we go. The driver's coming to the grid now. Are you ready, Luke Effridge?
I am definitely ready. The last few cars are starting to come into the position. What can Jax do? He has actually got a penalty from last time out. He had a qualifying ban anyway, and he didn't turn up to this race. So whether that will count as his qualifying ban, I'm not so sure. So that was hanging over his head from the last race. But now we get ready for them. For the lights to come on here at Spa. It is 5 lights. We're underway for the Belgian Grand Prix. What of a start cycle. It looks like Possassin might have to go slightly defensive here to try and stop Suku doing that long run all the way around the outside. But it is going to be Possassin, Suku coming out of turn 1. Rudy's actually got a bit of a run now down the inside of the Williams driver. And he's managed to get his way ahead. Everyone cleanly through the first few corners. But he's got some side-by-side action in the background as Marcus Towler and Dan Screen very close to the back of Enzo Ricciardo. Everyone gets up the hill slightly, cleanly this time around. And now the slipstreaming begins. Now here comes Rudy trying to go all the way around the outside. You've got Suku there as well, trying to make it 3 wide into Le Combe. And it is going to be Rudy who gets his nose ahead for now. Possassin has the inside line for the next corner though. And they're still going side by side here, so I'm not sure which way the battle is going to go. Still through Bruchel. This is great racing between the two of them. On this first lap of the race, you've got Suku and Kryptonite battling there as well. And I think now Rudy just got enough of his car ahead just to take the lead. Fantastic start from the Red Bull driver. Got Suku coming out of turn 2. And great respect between Possassin and Rudy to go side by side for a good 15-20 seconds there.
What fantastic battling from both, and they kept it pretty much clean throughout. And there's a spinner there. Cohen has spun around at the campus corner and has been sent to the back of the pack. Line Violet's actually dropped to the back of the pack at the start. He probably did it on his own accord. He doesn't want to get too involved. I totally understand the reasoning behind that, but he is down in 15th now, so a long way to go though. But look at this! Possassin on the outside in the bus stop against Rudy, but Rudy holds his ground firmly and keeps his lead. As we see Ballin and Marcus Sally, oh my goodness me, and there's an incident involving Dan Screen. He's lost a couple positions, probably got too involved with Marcus Tyler perhaps. Into Ricardo, I should apologise. As Ballin makes his way, Marcus Tyler wakes his way past Ballin for 6th.
Yeah, seeing who the biggest winner is on the first lap of the race. Jax has gained 3 positions. Cohen, obviously the biggest loser, going down 5. Dan Screen down 3 as well. Rudy, though, still in the lead. And an interesting fact, although I'm not sure he's going to be in the lead for much longer, because here comes Possassin round the outside, and I think he's got enough of an overlap to get that position as well. So that is Possassin back in the lead. I was about to say, we've not had a pole sitter win so far this season. We've Cohen's had 2 pole positions, hasn't converted either of them into a victory. No one else has had more than 1 pole position, and Possassin again is a new person to get a pole. But Game and Block yet to qualify first. It doesn't seem to have cost them too much, so maybe this is the time where that duck is going to be broken this season, and we are going to see someone take the victory from pole position. Kryptonite as Suku's got it wrong coming through Pouon. He's off the circuit, dropping a long way down the order. We thought he'd be challenging for the lead in the early stages of this race. He is now down in 10th place. I wonder if he's got any damage, because he's driving very slowly indeed.
Yeah, he just cut the entirety of that second campus corner. He is really struggling. I think he has damage. It doesn't seem to be very visible. I'm checking the other cameras right now. Yeah, not very noticeable, Luke. As you can see, he's about to be passed by Cohen through Blanchimont. Yeah, he is really struggling, Soker is, and does let Cohen through. There's no point of battling 2 Shizou drivers at the back of the pack. I think it was 2 Shizou three Suzuki drivers at the top of the field as Suzuki does come in. Yeah, 3 drivers at the top of the field in Austria. It's all changed now. Not even a single Suzuki driver in the top 3. Brock closest in 4.
Yeah, Block closest in 4th. There is a yellow flag there. I think Hammerlinen's had a bit of an issue coming out of La Source, but gets away with it. But now this is the first time we're going to see the DRS, and it definitely looks as though Rudy is close enough to the back of Possassin to make a move here if he chooses to do so. Neither of them using the ERS. There goes Rudy all the way to the outside. Gives himself the racing line. Nice and easy. Job done for him. That is Rudy back into the lead of this race. Kryptonite, he's in 3rd at the moment. Not yet to get a podium, but definitely a man who's shown on time, shown equal pace to Gamer in qualifying. But we all know Sam Corby is extremely good in the races. Good chance here for Kryptonite. Always going to be tough though when you're the 3rd car in the train to get any overtakes done.
Yes, but Dan Spreen has a penalty, yes, but Kryptonite could be trying to come to Pass Assassin's rescue. They could be executing a team effort here against Rudy. This could be a good plan to put into execution, but of course there's a long way to go. I think they could wait it out. Assassin of course will have the DRS next lap if this gap stays the same, as Brock has lost 4th position to Marcus Taula, who's at a rapid pace right now. He's already up to 4th. He started in 8th.
Yeah, certainly. Fantastic from Marcus Taula. I think it must have been a slight mistake from Brock coming through the campus chicane, because not really the exit of that corner is where you see too many overtakes happening, as Bolin thinks about throwing one down the inside into the bus stop. Might be able to get a bit of a cutback on the exit here on the McLaren driver. Of course, once you start going offline, you do start finding yourself in problems. Rudy, fastest lap of the race then, 1:46.044. A reminder, none of our top 3 have had a podium yet so far this season. In fact, none of our top 4 have had a podium so far this season. That is how crazy this race is going to be at this moment in time. But like you said, Logan, a long way to go, and I think we're going to have to get used to these front 2 swapping positions, as this time it is Possassin on the back of Rudy, down the inside, gets that move done quite a bit earlier than the Red Bull did last time around, but still with the same effect. He is up into 1st place as Simon. He's now up into 9th ahead of Dan Spreen. Crucial for Simon's race if he can get onto the back of this train in front of him and stick with them. He could look really good at the end. We'll have to watch for lead car on the mediums.
Just an update at the back, Luke. The Hammerlinen seemed to have a problem in lap 3, which is why the yellow flag might have come out. There might have been debris on the track. He's just come in for a change of tyres, and I believe wings, as we have a driver off. It is Joey RC. On my screen, he has no helmet. Oh my goodness me. And Joey RC has actually had an incident off of No Name. It might have been with his teammate actually. Line Violet seems to have lost a lot of ground too. So not good for the Alfa Romeo drivers, as we still see a long... What is this? It's an 11-car train, Luke. It's insane. Well, it's about to be an 11-car train if Simon can get any closer to Andrea.
Yeah, Dan Spreen being passed here by Jax. I wonder if he's got a bit of damage, because Simon has really pulled away from him on that last lap. Andrea all over the back of Enzo Ricciardo. Up ahead, he was, of course, the 2nd McLaren in that fantastic 1-2 we had earlier on this season, as now Possassin sets the fastest lap of the race. Unlike Formula 1, no points are awarded for the fastest lap. Every other point score is exactly the same, though. As you can see, Andrea right on the back of the 2 Mercedes at this moment in time. Line Violet comes into the pit, so I think you are right. There was definitely contact between those 2 cars. Back towards the lead of the race, though. Possassin now in the lead. Rudy, is he going to be close enough to go for a move this time? Is Possassin going to bother to defend? I'm not quite so sure. There's quite a few moves happening in the background as well, but Possassin has dropped down to 2nd place, and Marcus Towler was briefly alongside Kryptonite there. He's definitely got some pace in that Haas.
Yeah, see what Simon is now dropping back. It might be because he's on the medium tyres. I'm not sure. He's now 2 seconds, just under 2 seconds, behind Andrea. So it's an 8-car soft tyre train for the lead of this race. It's what we love to see. And I know it's a bit abundant in the top levels of league racing, but this just shows how close and tight this field is to one another in terms of performance. It is such insane to see, as we see. I'm seeing Ballin, who's coming through campus right now, but it is still Rudy that leads this train, with the 2 AlphaTauris just chasing after him. And in the Haas of Marcus Towler, followed by Brock Ballin and Enzo Ricciardo, the Mercedes pair, and the McLaren of Andrea.
Yeah, that is the train at the moment. I do wonder if it's just being outside of the DRS because of how long that slipstream and DRS affects and how powerful it is around this circuit. Whether that's what's just costing Simon down that straight and he is just losing out ever so slightly. But Possassin definitely looks to be hounding Rudy a lot more aggressively than Rudy is when he's on the back of the AlphaTauri. But here we go, lap number 6 of this race. Red Bull, AlphaTauri. I'm sure Dietrich Mateschitz would be absolutely loving this race if he's watching it, and maybe he is. Hello, Dietrich, if you are watching us. Somehow I've got a funny feeling he's got a few more important things to do, but at this moment in time, all these drivers are thinking of is when to come into the pits in this race, of course, especially if you are stuck in the train, as Kryptonite definitely looks as though he's struggling slightly as he... Ooh, bit of contact between himself and Marcus Towler. Possassin is back in the lead of this race. Marcus Towler a lot faster through Eau Rouge and Radion, and he's going to try one all the way around the outside here. That is a fantastic move by the Haas.
Wow. Brilliant move from Marcus Towler up into the podium positions. Kryptonite is struggling. Brock is coming at him like a bullet, trying all of the back of Kryptonite's gearbox, but Kryptonite trying to hold on as much as he can to 4th place, as Ballin is also coming in hot too, right behind Brock. They're going to have to wait a little bit for a move for now, as the two... no, that's actually Jax, who's went up to 8th. He's having a fantastic race. He started from the back and has taken advantage of all of the other drivers' problems. Well, I should say capitalizing on them, as I should say. He's now up into 8th and is almost right behind Andrea.
Yeah, I think Enzo Ricciardo might be another driver with some slight front wing damage. He is plummeting down the field. Jax has got ahead of him. Simon has. Cohen has. He's got Dan Spreen all over the back of him as well, and there you go, very easy indeed for Dan Spreen to get that move done. So Enzo Ricciardo, he'll be coming into the pits this lap. He can get the medium tyres to last, I believe, from this race distance, but we'll just have to wait and see what he goes for. No safety cars yet in this race, and with how close this 7-car train is at the lead of the race, we'll have to wait and see as Marcus and Kryptonite both make their way into the pits, and Bolin as well. I think they realise they're not getting anything done being stuck in this DRS train. They might as well come for an early pit stop.
Sorry to that reaction, Luke. Kryptonite just hit Marcus at the pit lane. I did not expect Marcus to come in so quick. Kryptonite hasn't changed his ring. I think he's got away with it there. Very lucky. But oh! And they nearly came together again. But it looks like Marcus Towler has just edged out Kryptonite. So they are as they were. And oh, Bollins actually went wide at the pit exit. That might be investigated. And so Ricciardo coming in now. I do believe he did have damage, if I am not mistaken. So it's Possassin and Rudy still leading. Brock and Andrea, the two McLarens, in 3rd and 4th. Jax now in 5th. He doesn't have to worry about pitting for now. Of course, these are the medium tyres. They're going to be lasting longer. Oh my goodness me, he's having a very fun time around No Name. We go back to the front. The gap, 2/3 of a second for now. Of course, this might become much closer coming into the DRS zones, but a long way to go. Of course, 1/3 of the race complete. Anything can happen in this next 2/3.
Yes, as Murray Walker said, anything can happen in Formula 1, and it usually does. Interestingly, last time around, Rudy wasn't able to get back ahead of Possassin. It's the first time since the DRS has been activated we haven't seen them swap. Asuku gets himself a 3-second time penalty. Also, I've just got the gap to the leaders up now on the screen. Marcus Towler is just chipping away by a few hundredths of a second, pretty much at the majority of the sectors. And here we go. We are now starting to see some of the other cars come into the pits. Andrea has to stay out, so he now takes the lead of this race, trying to avoid that double stack. Where is Marcus Towler going to be in all of this? As there is a yellow flag, and that's Kryptonite. That's at a moment coming through Blanchimont. Very lucky to just, very lucky to be able to carry on after having a moment at Blanchimont. The tarmac runoff areas might have done him very nicely there indeed. As we're about to see Marcus Towler, he's just coming out round La Source. Where is Rudy and Possassin? Rudy's managed to jump Possassin in the pits, but they're going to have Marcus Towler right behind them on fresh mediums.
Yes, he's right behind him, and he's got much more speed, of course, than the two drivers in front of him, and he might be going for a move, maybe a double move. That would be spectacular if he get it off. Possassin and Rudy squabbling for 7th place, but here comes Marcus Towler passing Rudy. Can't get past Possassin. They're still side by side heading into Lake Oh, they're banging wheels left, right and centre. They come through the last part of Lake Still side by side. No, Marcus Towler gets ahead of Rudy. He's taken advantage, and Rudy has just lost 2 positions in a few corners.
Yeah, certainly, Rudy. Probably the only time you don't want your pit crew to get yourself a fantastic pit stop right there, because he was leading that train coming up the hill, and he's been absolutely mugged. He is now down into 9th for net 3rd place. So Possessing's still your net leader at the moment. Marcus Towler has gained some time, and these 3 are starting to just maybe break away from Bowling, Rock. Kryptonite's obviously had his slight issue. You'd expect Andrea to drop down the order as well. So this could be the order to see in this race. They are starting to catch up to the back of Joey now, so that could definitely help out Possessing in one way, if he can get the move done. But also Joey, he's got his own race to run at the moment. I'm sure he's not going to make it overly difficult, but he's not going to make it overly easy as well, as Andrea does come into the pits. I think we'll be seeing Dan Screen coming as well, so that gets rid of all the cars from the start of the race. That did start on the soft tyres. So Jack's now in the lead ahead of Simon and Cohen. And then it is going to be this train that you can see currently being led by Joey. He, of course, still has to pit.
Yes, indeed, as they come out the pit lane now, both Andrea and Dan Spreen. Kryptonite just about to come around Lasource. We'll see where Andrea will come out. He does come out ahead of Kryptonite. So in 10th for now. Of course, that will change as Simon has been passed by Cohen for, well, I should say 2nd place. But of course, these 4 drivers at the top get to pit. Pastassin passes one of them, Joy, just been passed by the...
Oh, sorry to interrupt. Huge shunt. Huge shunt on the straight. Not sure what's happened there. Massive crash with Marcus Towler and Rudy. My goodness me, they were very close together, both of them. Out of the race. That is a full safety car. Well, Jax. Well, what do you do if you're Jax, Cohen and Simon? The soft tyres probably aren't making it this long, and you've got to use 2 different types of tyres. But Marcus Towler and Rudy, who are looking absolutely fantastic to possibly get a podium in this race, both of them are now out.
My holy insert expletives here. That is a game changer. This is probably the best situation possible for Pastassin. He's already pit. He doesn't have to do any more stops. And surely, well, to be fair, Jack, Cohen and Simon actually have a safety car pit stop gap to Pastassin, but they surely can't be on their softs unless they play it super, ultra conservative on the tyre wear management. My goodness me. I think they might have to go hards, Luke.
Yeah, I think they'll be better off just pitting and taking the hard tyres. Cohen's decided to stay out. Maybe that old saying, safety cars breed safety cars, and Simon's gone for the same as well. But Jax is coming into the pits here. He's going to get rid of those tyres. He is going to go for the soft tyres. Now. Can you get 13 laps out of a set of soft tyres around this circuit? They'll be, of course, they're on less fuel. They're doing a couple of laps at low speed, but they won't be in too good of a condition later on. I think Joey's going for that as Cohen.
What?
He's been disqualified from the session for ignoring a yellow flag.
Are you serious? What did he do? I don't know what he did, but he's out of the race. He's disqualified for... I have absolutely no reason why. We'll have to recheck the tapes for that. I've never seen that before. I've seen it at Britain in another league, and someone got disqualified for pitting while the safety car is out because he apparently overtook the safety car. How can you do that in the pit lane? I have no clue. But yeah, that is a very unfortunate incident for Cohen. I don't know what yellow flags he had to obey, but you know, that's it. What much can you do in that situation? It's over. It's so sad.
All I can think is there's been a misjudgment with the safety car somewhere in that, or something's messed up with the game when Jax has come into the pits, but then why is it only affected Cohen and not any of the others? That is very strange indeed. So Simon now leads this race on a set of old medium tyres. He has to come into the pits again. Possessing second on a fairly fresh set of the medium tyres. Jax is third, incredibly, but he's on a set of softs that he's got to try and get to the end of the race. And we've also seen Joey, Hammerleinen and Suku with Line Violets coming for a fresh set of softs. Enzo Ricardo's coming for a fresh set of mediums. I think Dan Spreen on a fairly fresh set of the medium tyres as well. This changes things quite dramatically, of course. And yeah, if you're just wondering why we are with a safety car, massive crash between Moody and Marcus Towler. I didn't see what happened, but crashing into each other on a straight suggests to me that one of the drivers has to be at fault.
Yes, I'm just gonna... You didn't catch it, no?
now.
Alright, just gonna double check.
We caught the we only caught the very tail end of it, unfortunately. Sort of as though I think one of the cars was already half sideways by the time we saw it happening. But they were both battling. I think Marcus Towler was the I'm not sure if he was behind or ahead at that moment in time. I think he would have been ahead of Rudy, wouldn't he? As now Simon comes into the pit, so he clearly thinks maybe they're getting the soft to stretch that one extra lap might not be the best idea. But now he comes into the pits. He's going to drop. Well, where's he going to drop? He's going to be behind Enzo Ricardo. He might still come out ahead of Line Violet, though, but he's going to be a long way down the field. Safety car will be staying out at least one more lap, possessing Jax Bowling now. Your top three. Not one. I don't even think we're the top three we would have expected at the end of qualifying. Jax has shot up 14 places. Bowling up 3 as well.
Yeah, I'm just checking the footage, Luke. It looks like Marcus Towler might have just cut off Rudy a little too early as he tried to pass Rudy. I'm just checking the tape. Just caught the end of that battle. Yeah, it does look like Marcus cut off Rudy there, and I'm not sure if that was an accident or whatever, but that is the end of both their races, of course. Oh, that was a nasty incident too. Luckily, of course, this is a video game. But that was a scary incident for both drivers. But there goes the chance of getting points. That's going to be definitely looked at in the office, no doubt.
Yeah, if I was the stewards, I'd get a pot of coffee on. They could have a long evening ahead of them. Cohen, I feel so sorry for him again, just having some bad luck. I think last time out, him and Nico collided on the way into the pit lane, which was a bit of a disaster. We saw something strange happen with the pits as well at Silverstone, and strange goings on here. Cohen disqualified, Marcus Towler and Moody. Absolutely massive crash at high speed, and such a fast section of the circuit. All it takes, of course, is that one tiny split-second misjudgment, and you can see how it ends up. We are pretty much at the halfway point of the race at the end of this lap. Safety car will be coming in this lap. We've got a few drivers saying that they reckon the softs will last about 10 laps. Jax, Joey, Hammerline and Simon Line Violet, they're hoping they can stretch 1 or 2 more out of them.
Look, I've just got word from Corin. He said, the game said overtake the safety car. He does, and it says he's disqualified. I don't know what the heck happened there. I'm so sorry, Cohen. You definitely did not deserve that happening to you. So, yeah, that is very, very weird. But here we go. We're going to get underway again.
Definitely very strange indeed. All the drivers now warming their tyres up. This is where Jax could have a bit of an advantage, of course. Fresher by a lap or 2 soft tyres than the car ahead of him. And, of course, he has got that softer rubber as a lot of the drivers around him are on a set of mediums. But when is Possessing going to go? It looks like he's leaving it quite late, and it is going to be out of the bus stop chicane is when he decides to put the hammer down and go for it. And there we go. We're back to green flag action then for the final half of this race. And Jax and Possessing have absolutely shot away from Bowling and the rest of the field, quite spread out at the end of that safety car period. Joey down the inside of Danspreen, and we think Hammerlinen's trying to get through as well, trying to use the best of those soft tyres because they might know at the end of this race they will be struggling ever so slightly. Hammerlinen just gets ahead of Danspreen before they start running up the hill, but here comes Jax all over the back of Possessing. Is it going to be close enough to get the move done? I think it's going to have to be a late lunge on the brakes, round the outside. This will be superb if he can pull it off. What a move. Maybe no. Possessing just holds on for now, but here comes Jax once more.
Oh, brilliant move.
Superb by Jax. Realised, I think, that perhaps he didn't have the grip to make that work. Using the brakes, going downhill into Bruchel is an overtaking opportunity, but the downhill nature does make it very, very difficult. Like you said, Logan, absolutely fantastic move. Jax now in the lead of this race. Kind of got to make hay while the sun shines and break that DRS train to Possessing behind him, because if Possessing stays in his DRS, I think it could be hard for Jax to take a victory in this race. If he breaks away and then can maybe save a bit of his soft tyres for the end, who knows? We could see Jax get his... Well, I think Jax, Possessing and Bowling, none of them have got any points this season. I think it's Jax is the only one that has raced so far. We've got a very mixed up race here. Brock in 4th place at the moment, just hanging on to the back of these guys. You got Andrea there. Kryptonite was looking fast earlier on before he had his moment, but now he's got Joey all over the back of him. for 6th place, and Joey thinks about one down the inside. Those soft runners are looking very pacey at this moment in time.
Yes, they are indeed, but of course, remember, these tyres have to last the end of the race, and you know, it's going to be a sticky situation once we get to around 8 or 9 or maybe 10 laps. Of course, because they got onto these tyres at around, was it lap 9, 10, 11, depending on which lap you pit. So it's going to be very interesting to see how it pans out come the business end of the race, as we can see Hammerleinen right on the back of Kryptonite. And Joey RC as well. Looks like a freeway battle going into Lake Com. Who is going to get the edge in it? Kryptonite thinking of a move. Hammerleinen right behind Kryptonite, but Joey goes through unchallenged. As Jack's lead to Assassin is now 1.5 seconds. Of course, that is the advantage of the soft tire product. He's got to be careful what he wishes for. These are going to wear out much faster than Assassins are.
Yeah, of course, Assassin. Well, those on the mediums have got no danger making it towards the end of the race. I'd say those on the softs, definitely Jax, Joey, and Line Violet and Hammerleinen might have to be a bit more careful. Simon lost himself track position in quite a big way. He is now down in 10th place when you consider he was in 3rd before the safety car period. Jax was leading, Cullen was 2nd, he was in 3rd place. Now he's down in 10th, definitely lost out. Having those one extra lap of freshness could well keep him free from puncture territory at the end of this race. We've only got 9 and a bit laps to go because obviously it's a very short lap count around here, only 22 laps in the field, very close together. Penalties could well be key. 3 seconds at this moment in time for Joey, Danspreen and Suku, as here comes Simon on the back of Danspreen, trying to use those mediums again as Hammerleinen gets his race past Kryptonite. Brave move to get it done.
Yeah, brilliant move it was from Hammerleinen, and he just went on the, I believe, the inside. Kryptonite was going, actually went very wide as Danspreen now loses another place to Simon. And now he's going to have Enzo, Ricardo and Suku and perhaps Lineville all over him as they come down Eau Rouge once again. The gap now between the top two, 2.6 seconds, starting to show the pace differential between the compounds. Who is going to make a move? Looks like it's going to be Enzo, Ricardo. This is for the final points paying position. Simon right in front of them both, but no can do for Enzo. No, he's right in the back of Danspreen again. Remember, these are both on medium tire compounds as Kryptonite gets a penalty. Look at this! Soku going in the inside of Enzo Ricardo. A brave move at Bruzel, and he gets the job done. Fantastic move from the Williams driver, the Suzuki driver as well. He's now up into 11th, chasing Danspreen for that points position.
Yeah, certainly. I think there, Suku just being very opportunistic, getting that move done. Line Violet almost following through as well. All this battling between these guys, you can see what Simon's just done on that fresh set of soft tyres. But as Nobo's in the jab, Jax is going to fall off hard. And I think a few of these others are. They really do need to try and get these moves done now, as Kryptonite has a bit of a moment there. Coming out of the campus chicane and through Stavolo, and that's just going to make it extremely easy for Simon to get this move done. Round the outside of Blanchimont is normally a pretty dramatic move. I'm not sure how dramatic it's going to be. Here they're still fighting side by side, these two cars, and it looks like Simon has got that move done in the end. So he is now up into 8th, 1.92, well, about 1.7, 1.8 seconds behind the car ahead. Might just make it a bit tricky to get some more moves done. Joey, he's in 6th on the back of Andrea. Assassin and Bowling. Well, Assassin is in a bit... I think he'd prefer it if he had Bowling closer to the back of him and able to give him DRS on occasion, because he's just going to try and fight through this tyre deficit on his own at the moment.
Yes, indeed. The gap now between him and Jax is 3 1/3 seconds. It's becoming ever bigger. It's actually flipped between 3.2 and 3.3. Who knows when these tyres are going to run off the cliff here at Belgium, considering all the curbs you have to navigate for a whole 22 laps. It's half a grumpy distance, and there's a car off. It's Soku! I spun off at Lake Com. I think he was attempting a move on Danspreen, and he's lost all those positions and he's retired on track. That might be looked into, as we see Joey RC and Hammerleinen right behind Andrea. The gap just under 3/10 each way. But that's the end of Soku's race. He has called it quits after that spin out at Lake Com.
Yeah, shame for Soku. Was looking pretty pacey in qualifying. Damage early on in the race, and then that spin there at Lake Com. He has decided enough is enough, and I think we're already starting to see maybe that bit of advantage of the soft tyres. Not so much for Jax, who's still doing a fantastic job, but if you're stuck in traffic, I don't think you've got enough of a pace overlap to just get that move done when you are stuck in these DRS trains. You can see he's got Hämäläinen all over the back of him and Andrea just ahead of him, so we'll see if Hämäläinen does think about a move. He's already pulled off one fairly aggressive move into the bus stop chicane as Joey's going to go all the way around the outside of Andrea. Bit of contact between the two of them. But it's a fantastic move by Joey, just as I was saying. Maybe it's getting a bit more difficult in the DRS train. He decides who needs DRS. I'll just do it the old-fashioned way, under-braking into the bus stop. That is Joey up into 5th.
Joey is a brave soul when it comes to making moves, and that is one place to show it off. Joey now up into 5th, 1 second behind Brock, but of course that tyre advantage might come in to help him in the long run. But of course, remember, they have to make it to the end of the race on those, and they've done more than half the race on it. But Andrea are striking back, and so is Hämäläinen now. Joey has lost 2 positions. Hämäläinen might be about to gain 2, and he does so into Lake Home, into 5th place from 7th. What a move from the Aston Martin driver.
Yeah, and that move was all about ERS management, right to the top of the hill. Just as you come out of Radion, Joey and Andrea, both of them had their red ERS lights flashing, suggesting they were less than 10%. Hämäläinen's wasn't even flashing by the time we got to the end of Kemmel Straight. Just used that bit of tyre grip out of La Source to help him get onto the back, and then just using the pure pace of that hybrid system to get himself further up the order. So he's in 5th, and he's got the DRS of the cars in front, which will help him as well. Gap at the front hasn't gone up as much this lap as it has on the previous ones, but Possassin, he's going to have some work to do. 4 seconds in 6 laps, as that is Danspreen facing the wrong way at the campus chicane. Might be worth carrying on though, because there's only 12 cars here, 2 more retirements, and you never know what could happen. By the way, this race has gone, and everyone will be scoring points.
Yeah, you'll be in the points if you make 90% and in the top 10. Of course, 90% is what you must complete to get a classification, whether you're scoring or not. After all, even if you not scored points, it still comes into play in determining tiebreakers for the championship overall standings. Of course, it mattered to remember the 3 minnows from 2010 to 2012, HRT, Lotus, later Caterham, and Virgin, later Marussia. Of course, in 2012, I believe Marussia overtook, I think it was Caterham for 10th, with Charles Peak coming out being the hero for them, as Enzo Ricardo makes a move on Kryptonite and gains a point from that. If it stays like this, that is, of course, you get 1 point for being in 10th, 2 for 9th, 4 for 8th, etc. It's the same as Formula 1, of course. 25 points for the winner, and it could be going to Jax. The way it's looking, he started from the back, which is even more insane. He had a qualifying ban. He joined late anyway, and was not setting a time, of course, because of the weather. But my goodness, is he putting on a show? He's 4 seconds ahead of Possassin, and those soft tires don't like they're running out yet.
No, Joey picks up another time penalty. That could cost him quite dearly in the end. That's now puts him up onto 6 seconds, I believe, as we do get that penalty up. He'd even dropped behind Kryptonite and Line Violet at this moment in time with those penalties. But here's Jax in the lead of this race, as there's been a spinner. That is Danspreen off again. He's really not having fun in this race at the moment. A long way off the back of the field. I'm sure he's hoping for safety car.
Sorry to interrupt you. Hämäläinen making a move on Brock out of the bus stop. They're side by side coming out of there. Who is going to get the edge? It looks like it's going to be Hämäläinen into 4th. My goodness, this driver, both Aston Martin drivers, putting on a show.
Yeah, certainly great move there by Hämäläinen, and I think crucially for him, he's just got close enough to Bowling to get the DRS as well, because you can see there the red light now flashing on the back of that Aston Martin, so that could cost him coming up the hill. I don't think Brock's close enough. Danspreen comes into the pits. I'm sure he's just going to put a set of the soft tyres on and try to go for the fastest lap, even though it isn't worth anything. Back to the lead though, back to the other Aston Martin, Jax, 3.8 seconds ahead. He's going to need Possassin to start gaining nearly, 7-8 tenths of a second a lap at the moment, as Simon, he now picks up a penalty. He's battled with Joey, and that is Joey off in the gravel.
It's very unfortunate for Joey, of course. He is now out of the points, even behind Line Violet, 8 seconds behind his teammate. It's not looking good for Joey now. Going to be unusual to see how. No, not unusual. Interesting to see how Jax will fare on these final few laps. The tyres starting to run out of steam, maybe. It doesn't look like it. He's handling them very well, but most people would be concerned on how their tyres are doing in this stint. It is, of course, 7 laps. If he gets to the end of this, it will be 12 laps. More than half of the race, which usually is reserved for a medium stint.
Yeah, certainly. It'll be a fantastic achievement on that set of the soft tyres. And Possassin, he's not really closing in. And you can see it's 4 seconds pretty much as we end this lap. He's got to gain a second a lap. And he's only really gained, I think, on that last lap, 1 or 2 tenths at most, if anything. So you can see here, Jax is doing a fantastic job at the moment. Bowling, like I said, he's not putting the pressure on Possassin. And Possassin's not getting DRS off a car in front of him. They're not swapping around. So he's not in an ideal situation to try and just make this overtake that tiny bit easier. Hämäläinen as Joey retires in the pit, so we are now down to just 11 cars. Hämäläinen not close enough to the back of Bowling. It looks like Brock is fairly close to the back of the Aston Martin though. Just stuck in this awkward 6th, 7th, 10th of a second gap where you really don't see too many moves.
Yes, indeed, as Joey RC has retired in the pit lane, so that means only one driver remaining, as it stands, will not be scoring any points. They have almost crossed the 90% threshold. This lap, I believe, will be the one that will mean they cross the threshold. Gap now 4.2 seconds at the top. It's getting ridiculously long now. Assassin might have to settle for second best, but you know, he's doing very well holding off Bullen, who is in third. Hämäläinen though on the softs, is it starting to get to the point where softs and mediums start to neutralize?
Yeah, definitely. Maybe even a lap or two ago I'd have expected us to be at the point where the mediums are better than the soft tyres, but judging by the pace of Jax and Possassin, that's really not happened at this moment in time. But here we can see Hämäläinen on the back of Bowling. He's not fighting his way through the field as he was earlier on. He looks pretty comfortable from Brock and Andrea though. Simon's sort of on his own now in 7th place. He will drop because of penalties. Now Enzo Ricardo 8th, Kryptonite 9th, Line Violet 10 from Dan Screen 11th. Needs a bit of a miracle to get a point from this situation. That miracle would need to be someone else's retirement. On board with Bowling then. He's had a bit of a quiet second stint to this race as Brock gets ahead of Hämäläinen. I wonder there if there was a bit of contact between the two of them. Now coming up the hill, is Hämäläinen going to be able to fight back here with the DRS? Is he even going to have the DRS? He is indeed. He's got Brock just ahead of him. He's got Andrea right behind him. Which way is this move going to go? Hämäläinen goes to the left-hand side here. Andrea's going to try and follow. And in the end, Brock, I was about to say he's hung on there, but no, very late on the brakes by Hämäläinen. Manages to get that position. Really, though, dropping these guys off the back of those top 3, perhaps even into the clutches of Simon.
Yeah, I was going to say, Hämäläinen actually lost it out of Flasource and lost the position to Brock, but he's gained it back now, still in 4th, but now he's 2 seconds behind Bolin. That might affect his chances completely of getting a podium. As they come around Pujon now, the 2 McLarens next to each other, what are they going to do? Are they going to stay as are, or are they going to let Andrea through? Because remember, Andrea's on the fresher medium tyres. Brock pitted a lap earlier than Andrea, so he's actually at a disadvantage when it comes to tyre grip. The gap has started to reduce at the front though. It's now 3 3/4 seconds. So it's dropped half a second since we last checked in with them.
Yeah, certainly it has dropped half a second, but we're now at the stage where Jax, he's got to lose nearly 2 seconds a lap at this moment in time, and he is actually, well, he lost quite a bit just coming out of bus stop there. He did lose about 2 tenths of a second, so I think we are starting to get to the point where those softs are starting to struggle, but they're not in a bad state at the moment. As long as he doesn't get a puncture, I think Jax has got a very good opportunity of taking this race. We could see overtakes right to the end, of course, going into the bus stop chicane. Bowling, though, he's the closest we've seen him to the back of Possessing for quite a while, and I think he's going to try and get this move done here. Bowling, maybe he's just been waiting until later on in this race. Down the inside he goes. He takes second position, and him and Possessing battling could be exactly what Jax wants to see.
Yes, as we see Hammerleinen battling with the two McLarens once again, but the Aston Martin driver coming on top against the two Papaya Warriors as they come through a big lock-up from Brock at Bruxelles. It's just fallen away from them. It seems like fourth place for the both McLaren drivers. The gap now 3.4. It has gained a little time of it, Jax has. But remember, it ain't over till it's over. That is when the checkered flag falls.
No, certainly. A reminder, we don't know what the tyre wear is of these drivers, but anything over 75%, you can get a puncture, as Hammerleinen now gets a 3-second tyre penalty. That is quite a shame for him. That's going to allow Brock and Andrea through on him as well, and if he loses a bit of time on this next lap, could even allow Enzo Ricciardo to get it ahead as well. But the gap now 3 seconds to the leader, Jax. He's still holding on for now, and how do these tyres look? We can't really tell in the shadows. We might be able to tell once he comes out of them. They look... well, I think they look fairly warm, but you don't seem to have any obvious signs of graining. Likewise on the rear tyres. They don't look in too bad state, to be honest.
Yeah, I wish they did have graining in this game because I can't see any. Final lap, though, the gap now 2.8 seconds. All that stops Jax now is himself and his tyres. He just has to come through this clean. No penalties, no spin out, no tyre dramas, and that will be the last first challenge completed. Remember, he did join late and he couldn't set a time because obviously it was raining. And he has pulled off a crazy gamble, which actually could be about to pay off. He's been on these tyres for half of the race, and it will be over half the race once we get to the finish line.
Oh, sorry to interrupt there. I thought we were going to see a major accident. Bowling just got tapped by Passassin. Well held by the Mercedes driver, but yeah, Bowling gets overtaken by Passassin. Slightly forceful from the AlphaTauri driver. He's up into second, though.
I'm checking Hammerleinen's tyres. He seems to have a big flat spot on his front left. He's really struggling to get around the corners. He's been overtaken by Brock, and Andrea could be next. Jax doesn't seem to have any troubles. He just has to finish the race. It doesn't seem like he has got any problems with his tyres. It looks like there's somewhere on the back of them, but I can't see anything stopping him now. Just has to come through these final corners clean, and he'll have it. Andrea still squabbling with Hammerleinen. Is he going to take fit? Well, he could. He might as just, well, he's going to go for the move anyway, but he has a penalty, Hammerleinen, so, I mean, why not?
Yeah, but why not indeed? We can see Andrea all over the back of Hammerleinen here. I think he is going to get the move done round the outside, further up the field. We're going to see Jax come across the line. These two are still battling side by side. Jax takes the victory here. Hammerleinen and Andrea still battling through the final couple of corners. It's going to be Andrea who ends up taking that position. He'd have got it on penalties in the end. Passassin gets second, Bowling third, Brock in fourth. Andrea takes fifth position. Enzo Ricciardo, his best result of the season, in sixth. Hammerleinen dropping to seventh in the end. His tyres really dropping off a cliff. Lineveiler 8th, Simon 9th, Kryptonite 10th, Danspreen will be the final finisher. The gamble, though, definitely worth it for Jax. He takes a fantastic victory here from the back of the grid.
Yeah, he just showed up right at the tail end of qualifying and thought, you know what, let's just go for it. And look what happened. He came out on top with a crazy but very smart gambit, and he has won here at Spa from nowhere.
Yeah, brilliant job. Like I said, I think maybe the fact that we didn't see Bowling and Passassin swapping earlier on in positions, maybe if they'd have had DRS a bit more on each other and see some overtakes, they could have dragged themselves up to the back of Jax, but take nothing away from the Aston Martin driver. Thankfully, his driving skills are a lot better than his dancing skills. He takes a fantastic victory today. Great job by Passassin to take second place as well on what I believe is his debut this season. Bowling third on his debut as well. But we continue the fact no person has won a race from pole position so far this season after 7 rounds. That is absolutely crazy. Your provisional order then. Jax takes the victory. Passassin and Bowling rounding off the podium. Brock, good job from him to get second place in the championship now on his own. From Lars, he finishes 4th. Andrea takes 5th, so a good day for McLaren in the constructors. Enzo Ricciardo was 6th. Hammerleinen got the fastest lap in 7th. Lineveiler 8th. Simon and Kryptonite the final points. Danspreen, the unlucky individual to miss out on the points. Everyone else retired. Joey, Suku, and of course that massive incident between Marcus Towler and Moody. And then the ridiculous disqualification from Cohen. And after, well, that safety car is really what did it, obviously, for Jax. Without that, he'd have been quick at the end of the race, but he got the track position, got the moves done. Maybe, just maybe, being in free air meant he didn't wear his tyres out as much as some of the others.
Yeah, probably, because remember, of course, you're not going to be using up much grip under the safety car. But yeah, Jax. Oh, give yourself a pat on the back. That was a fantastic performance from you, sir. Beats the pole man, Passassin. I don't think he'll be too disappointed considering the circumstances of getting second place. But wow, what a race that was.
Yeah, I think a few of the drivers are surprised that the soft tyres lasted that long. In the chat earlier on, Marcus Towler did say, Joey asked how long did the soft last, and Marcus Towler said about 10 laps. Well, he was a couple of laps out on that, and we see that quite often, of course, later on in the race. You can get more life out the tyres, but I wasn't expecting that much.
Yeah, it's just one of those races you don't know what's going to happen, etc. But yeah, I have completely lost. I've completely lost my mind at this because of so much was happening. I've got to tell you.
Yeah, definitely, and absolutely fantastic end to the race. We are going to start then the post-race interviews, and we are going to get some of the drivers into the commentary box, and we are going to start with the man who finished in second place, and that was Passassin, getting second place from pole position. A great job from yourself in the end. That safety car and Jax being able to go on the soft tyres, decisive in the end, and you couldn't catch up after that. I mean, Passassin, you are muted, just to make you aware of that. Do seem to having a few problems with Passassin, so we'll bring in.
No.
You're back.
Sorry.
You're back.
My mic wasn't unmuting.
As I said, great job to get second place on your debut from pole position. Just that strategy under the safety car from Jax made it really difficult for you to take this victory.
Yeah, he got really fortunate with that, and he drove a great race from last to first, and you got to congratulate him for that. It was absolutely clinical from him, but I can't complain about anything. P2 is a great result.
Let's go back to qualifying. Were the drivers and yourself, were you aware that you were only going to get one lap in qualifying?
I saw the weather, and I kind of rushed the quickest I could to just put the setup on and get out. So yeah.
Yeah, definitely turned out to be the right thing to do. Logan, do you have any questions?
No, I don't think so. I'm trying to think of some, but of course, I'm just trying to process what I have just seen from that race. I don't think we're actually getting interviews from Jax. He's not in the room. Bolin and Passassin. Not Jax. I don't know where he's gone. Maybe he couldn't be able to.
It's 5 a.m. I think is in Australia.
Oh, of course, he's from Australia. I'm sorry.
So I don't think he wants to celebrate too loudly. But if you haven't got any questions, Logan, then congratulations, Passassin, on a pole position and a podium.
Thank you.
And now we're going to bring in someone else who got their first points and first podium of the season. It is Bolin. Great job from yourself there. So close to second place at the end of the race. Passassin just able to get the move, though, done on the DRS.
Yeah, thank you, man. It was a really nice race. Didn't expect it at all. But yeah, it was really great to race here. You
started in 6th place. You just seemed to keep it clean when a lot of drivers around you had issues. We saw obviously the big crash between Rudy and Marcus Towler. Kryptonite had a moment as well. Didn't get any penalties either. Is that something you worked on? Just keeping it clean and hoping that some of the drivers around you would have issues?
Yeah, exactly like that. It was the pace was really good in front of me. So it was pretty difficult to follow. But I keep it in the DRS, and then it happens in front of me on the straight. So, I was shocked, but at the end, I had no penalties. I had 2 warnings, but I keep it clean. They give me the podium.
Yeah, definitely. Always good to keep it clean, especially when there's a safety car. Makes the penalties even worse. Logan, do you have any questions?
Yes. Were you... I know this was weird, but were you expecting qualifying to go that quick?
No, my first sector was pretty good. I think I had the fastest, but then the rain came out, in the end of the sector 2 and the last sector. So yeah, my lap wasn't that great again. But if I was going a little bit sooner, I think I was maybe top 3 or something. But yeah, it was still a good lap for P6.
Well done on the. Did he get the podium? Yes, he did.
He did.
Yeah, I'm just trying to remember because I'm still focused on how on earth Jack won that race. Sorry for my tunnel vision, but it just boggles my mind how he managed to do that, pull it off.
Yeah, definitely did a fantastic job on those soft tyres. Congratulations, though, to Bowling and to Possassin on getting the podium. And that's pretty much it then for this stream. We are getting towards the end of a fantastic race. And then next time around, we are going to be racing at USA, where the real F1 cars are racing, of course, this weekend. And that is another track where the DRS zones, as we see so often, oh so important. Turn 12 and Turn 1 could provide plenty of chaos in a week's time.
Yes, it could. Of course, Austin, inaugurated in 2012, of course, has some very unique sections of, well, I would say unique sections, but the first section, of course, you got a very uphill hairpin, and then you will go through the S's, which are much faster than the ones in Suzuka, and it's much harder than Suzuka, I have to say, because you've got to time your braking times right before. Sorry, I had a hiccup there. Before going into a few braking zones there, and then going up to a straight towards a hairpin, and then another long straight into the twisty and much slower sector 3, where you've got it's a lot of S curves, I have to say. And then you've got a section similar to turn 8 from Istanbul before the final 2 corners completing the lap. It's going to be one interesting race here, and an interesting qualifying perhaps at the Circuit of the Americas in Texas, the United States. We do hope you stick around next week for that, but any final words, Luke?
Yeah, I've got some final words. We're not the only ones, of course, that are going to be heading to Texas next time. You'll be able to watch PC action. Not actually, you won't be able to watch PC this week because, of course, it would clash with the American Grand Prix. You will be able to watch the Xbox action, though, on Monday. Lower tier from the PS as well, tier 3. That is also on Monday. Xbox tiers off throughout the week before myself and Logan will be back with the top tier and also tier 2 as well on Fridays, where we've seen our third different winner of the season, and it was definitely not one we expected at the start of the race. Jack's making it work from last to first. Who will take the victory at Austin? Will we see perhaps someone else take a victory and just slightly start to edge in that gap that Gamer still has despite his absence? Take care of yourselves, everyone. Enjoy your weekend, and goodbye.